Hi, welcome to my new video where I will show you what happens when your state in the arbitrary stateful processing expires and you call the remove function of the group state class. So to demonstrate that, I added some breakpoints in Apache Spark library, and I also wrote this sample class or the sample application, where, as you can see, I explicitly defined the number of partitions, of shuffle partitions to 1, just to control the debugging much better. And I'm also used the native rate stream, just also for the sake of simplicity. In the processing, I'm using the processing timeout, still for the same reason of simplicity, and I have also defined a mapping method that will create the state only once. And it's quite important because, still for the sake of simplicity, I want to limit the scope of the analysis. So this method, as you can see, it creates the state only when the state doesn't exist and only when it wasn't removed. And to control the removal process, I'm using a local object. So as you know, object in Scala is a singleton, so we only have one instance of it in the JVM, and that's the reason why I can use it freely here to control the behavior and to see whether something was already done or not. So my state is just a number. Once again, for the sake of simplicity, that will expire 1 second later. And I added this print log to the console just to see when it happens. And regarding the expiration, it's quite standard. I intercept the has timeout flag. I setting the was removed flag to true just to not recreate the state in the future, and I'm removing the state from the state store. And let me run this code and show you what happens when the state expires and is removed, like in this method. And that's quite normal because it's the call for the mapping for the stateful aggregation. That is quite important because it shows the content of the cached map, because it shows the content of the state store map. And as you can see, for the first run, this map is empty, as expected. Now we are calling the second micro batch. The map is still empty because it is the result of the previous computation, and since we didn't have any new data, it remains empty. And now we will create the group state that will be passed to my arbitrarily stateful processing function. And as you can see in this group state, that's already an indicator. This group state takes only some parameters like batch processing or event time, but doesn't retrieve the expiration time of this state. Anyway, let's move on. So as you can see here, we are updating the state, which looks like that. So it's normal, everything is empty, and also it's normal for this case that this timeout timestamp flag is empty too. So now I'm in my method that creates the state. I'm setting the timeout duration, and I'm also updating the state value. So as expected, we called this function for the first time and created the state. And also, as expected, the map of the state store is now filled up with this first state object. And now, as you can see, I'm calling this create for streaming builder method for the state object which time it out. And it's also quite important because you will see that here too, the timeout timestamp is set to -1. And globally is the key. So this method building the group state object is the key for understanding why here. So now I obviously calling this method, and you can see here that since I removed the state explicitly, and also since the timestamp value is -1 due to this builder method, I will go to this branch. So I will call state store remove instead of going to this branch and calling state store put and putting an empty state to the map. And by the way, you will see that in the next micro batch, whereas you can see the map is empty. So obviously it's due to the call of the remove methods. And why I'm telling that? I'm telling that simply because initially I was thinking that when the state expires and it's removed, this state it won't go to this branch, but it will go to this branch because of this condition, and it will set a state that will have a null object in the value. But that as you can see, it won't happen, and the state map will not grow indefinitely. It was Bartosz Konieczny from waitingforcode.com. Thanks for watching.